All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right, welcome to Monday, September 11th. We always will remember September 11th. Okay, and also we are very fortunate today to have with us from the North Scottsdale office, Mr. Attila Juhasz, commonly known as AJ. AJ, you got to hit *6 on your phone to unmute yourself, and then we'll be able to hear you. *6, please. AJ, can't hear you. *6. Boom. Can everybody hear me? I guess I should say.
Are you there?
Oh, there you are.
All right. Sorry.
All right, AJ. All right, so let's
get
it started,
start.
my man. Tell them a little. Well, so I should have told you before too. Tell them a little about yourself, how long you've been doing this good stuff, all that stuff, my man.
So I actually started back in February of 2019. So I would say just a little bit over 4.5 years. And probably you don't remember, but the way I started is Shirley Small, my former mentor and awesome broker, recommended that I take your 4-day seminar that you were doing at Kierland. So I basically set up shop in the front row right in front of you, and basically I was ready to learn because, as I told Shirley, I had a lot of sales and marketing skills, but I kind of had to fine-tune everything to be able to be successful in real estate. So I basically, I've been with you from day one. Literally. So.
I do remember. I remember you coming. You sat in the front there, right to my left a little bit, and I definitely remember Shirley and Phil too. And
yeah.
We still miss her every day. She's great. Love Shirley.
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. Those guys are fantastic.
She's having fun now though. She's retired.
Well, I know, yeah, but they were fundamentally very important for my success because not only that you helped me get going, but also the kind of training that I got from Shirley and Phil that were tremendous because, between them, they had so much experience. And, Shirley helped me with some of the transactions and Phil did some of the technical training. So whenever I needed help, it was just fantastic that I was able to walk in there. And also they are gone, but you are still here. And also Mary Sand was also just such a wealth of information from the get-go. So
oh yeah,
I think the fact that I'm here talking to you about my success kind of, I have to point the mirror at you guys because I had some skills. I had some okay skills, but really without the fantastic team, there's no way that I would be sitting here talking about my story. Right.
Well, I appreciate that, and I know Mary does too, and I know Shirley and Phil do as well. And the thing is that, but AJ, you're like one of the unique people that you actually, every time I would go to your office, you'd be there, and even to this day, and you show up to Success Series every now and then, and you're, still in my coaching, and it's you subscribe to the things that it takes to be successful, and that's why obviously I've asked you to do this podcast today. So congratulations to you, and I appreciate it, my man.
Thank you. And I don't think that one shoe fits all, but I really think that even when you come back into town and if we sit down and, sometimes it's a bigger group, sometimes it's a smaller group, but I always feel like it's so beneficial to spend maybe an hour or two or whatever just chatting because sometimes you pick up just one little tidbit and kind of gets you to the next level. And also, like right. You mentioned, like I was in your coaching calls earlier, and then I also kind of walked away just because I didn't want to take up your time. But then I started feeling like, hey, I need to go back to like just the regular, biweekly discussions. Just not biweekly, like every other week. So it just kind of helps me like stay focused because you always said it from the beginning, like set goals, and obviously I'm from corporate America, so over there it was always very important to forecast, and most of the time it's like, okay, what number should we come up with? But it's actually been like kind of magical to me, because back in 2020 I came up with a number, and it's almost like I hit it to the T. And then earlier this year you came in, and I think we had one of those like sessions where it was only like 4 of us, so it was very informal and very productive, because we could really dive deep into goals. And I told you my goal, and oh my gosh, I think it's happening.
Nice. Well, that's awesome. Awesome. I think you should, and because I always love this. I think you should tell them when you really got involved in real estate, when you were in college, and how you got your first property. I think that's a great story. So tell them that. I'd really love to hear that.
Yeah, actually, let me go back a little bit, because I was kind of doing some more soul searching. So, I grew up in communistic Hungary, and over there it was kind of difficult to really, make money, because everybody kind of had to like work for the state, and it was
right.
dark times. But anyway, so my parents always ended up buying and selling real estate, so I kind of feel like some of the passion for real estate started way back when I was younger, and I, could kind of see, and they were always super cool, because they would kind of make a family decision, like, I was like 6, 7, or later like 10, 12, and we were always part of the decision, like, oh, what do you guys think about it? And, they would always buy some like distressed properties and then kind of bring them back to their original glory. So I think that's what really started things. And then when I moved to the U.S. to go to ASU, back then, to get a international student visa, I had to have my parents put 4 years of tuition money into a U.S. bank account, because that you needed to guarantee that you are not just showing up and, after a few months you're going to be like, trying to get a job illegally. So anyway, I was 19 and I had something like $87,000 in the bank, and I kind of drove around Tempe, and I really didn't like some of the student housing. So I had this crazy idea, and I said, hey, why don't I take 1/4 of my tuition, use it as a down payment on a house? And back then I was able to find a brand new house. It was $155,000 in Scottsdale in 85251 off of Granite Reef and Camelback. And it was a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1,800 square feet house. And I said, well, in Arizona, you have to have a pool. So they ended up building a custom pool that I designed for $10,000. So I basically moved in, got the house, ended up getting 2 roommates to help me pay for my mortgage. And also it was, fantastic, because it kind of gave me the discipline from early on, because when you're a renter compared to when you're a homeowner, you definitely have a lot more responsibilities. But I think that's how I didn't know that I was going to get into real estate, but I definitely got into real estate early on.
That's such a great story. And you held on to that property for a long time too, didn't you?
Well, I did for like 11 years, but so I bought this in 1988, and for kicks and giggles, I kind of looked at it. So back then it was $165. Now I could sell it for $865. But I held on to it for 11 years, but back then the appreciation wasn't like now, because I think I sold it for like $235. So, really the boost in prices came way, way later, but still sometimes I drive by and just kind of say hi to the house. It was super convenient, and also it was so nice to have, such a nice house. So that house was definitely a party house.
Yeah, well, that's fun. That's cool. So, okay, so then you went into corporate America for a while, and, you did your thing there, and then you jumped into real estate. And so give me a little, how I know you had a good year last year, and how are you doing this year so far?
Oh my gosh. Just a little bit more. So yeah, as you mentioned, I'm kind of a corporate dropout. So I went to ASU back in the 80s, early 90s, got an undergrad in marketing, and then I really didn't want to go back to Hungary with the gray skies and 9 months of just bad weather. So I ended up getting my master's in international marketing. So after that, I was in corporate America until 2018. And so actually not last year was the game changer, but really in 2021, which was actually my third full year, I closed 20 million. And not only that, I was number 4 in Berkshire Hathaway. So, not counting the teams, but when it comes to the individual, so I made it.
Individual,
Yeah, individuals 4 spot. And last year was okay. I, still made it to the chairman gold. But this year, it's I don't know. I heard that the market is not so good, but it really doesn't reflect in my numbers, because year to date, if I just look at what I closed, I'm up 13%. But by the time September comes, I will be up 19% year over year. And then if I look at what I have in the pipeline in October, I will end up being 45% up compared to last year. So I'm kind of heading back to 2021, and that's why I was kind of mentally preparing for this meeting, and you were here the first quarter, and we kind of had this discussion what do you want to do this year? And I'm like, I want to go back to 2021, and I want to hit 20 million. So the good thing is that I'm definitely on my way back there, because not only that, I have right now I have 5.6 million in escrow, I have 3.3 in listings, but also I have a robust pipeline. So I've been just so fortunate this year, because in January and February I felt like a hamster. I was working, and nothing was happening. And suddenly the floodgates opened up, and it's just things are happening left and right.
That's awesome. Well, and it's because of what you do, right? So it sounds like, are you back to the activities of 2020? Is that what you're saying?
So I'm always active. I think last year what kind of took my attention away from driving the business a little bit is that I decided to do my broker examination. So I participated at SAR in this broker classes for 6 weeks. And when I went in, I had 2 in escrow, which ended up closing. But then once I was done with my exams and everything, suddenly I came out, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm unemployed. So I, had to ramp things up. So I think that's what happens. You take your foot off the gas and things will slow down, because, nobody's handing me any business. So I definitely always have to hit the basement and go after business. So it's never magically this business appears from nowhere. So there's always something going on.
Yeah. And where does your business, give me a little breakdown, where does most of your business come from, and how are you doing it right now?
So I am fortunate that I have been in the Valley. So I always tell people, don't let the accent fool you. I've been here since 1987, so I know the city really well. I've seen it grow from 1.7 million to, I don't even know what is the number, 4.5. Sometimes people say 4.8, but I have really good knowledge of the city. So also because I went to school here, I had multiple corporate jobs, so I have a really big sphere of influence, but also some of the current success that I have is either from my sphere of influence and also from just open houses. I used to do so many trade shows when I was in corporate America, so it comes very natural to me to basically show up at a fixed spot and, talk to anybody who randomly, comes through the door. And what has been very successful for me is that I'm able to connect with certain type of people. I'm highly analytical, so the people that are drawn towards me are the ones that really have a lot of need for data, and I always try to make sure that I present it in a way that it's easily digestible. But really, the people that I connect with are highly analytical. They geek out on charts, and we can talk facts because I'm all about the facts. I don't like to assume things. I always want to make sure that I provide the facts so we can actually predict the outcome of a potential negotiation. Or, I have returning clients who, bought with me years ago, and they come back and they're still super happy because we made good decisions. So what drives my business is if I look at something, if it makes sense to me, if I would invest it, if I would buy it, I would definitely, recommend it to my clients. But if something doesn't sound good to me, I raise my hand and just basically say, hey, we need to dive maybe deeper or maybe just look at something else. So even when the markets are super hot, I have never, ever, ever done anything as is or wave inspections or anything shady because I love to sleep well, and I always want to make sure that we do the due diligence and we are working at facts and not assumptions.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, cool. So you mentioned a lot of good things there. So I know you stay active, with your sphere and so forth, and I know that you do the active open houses and so forth too, right? So that's amazing. Those two are kind of a major source of your businesses, aren't they?
Yeah. It's really the sphere and really the open house. And I did one last Sunday. There was only one person who came in. I did one yesterday. I only had 4 people who came through. But sometimes all you need is one. Like right now, I have 2 under contract where basically there were people that I met a long time ago at open houses, and I stay in touch. And also another thing, so one thing that you go to an open house, but I think one thing that's super underutilized is our VAC or our CRM system. So I cannot do everything on my own, and I'm the first one to tell you I'm horrible at making the phone calls and writing handwritten notes. So that's just not me. And when you have such a robust CRM system, I basically just plug things in, and sometimes it takes 2 years, sometimes it takes maybe 4 months. But if you regularly reach out to people with the help of the CRM system, it's just amazing. It's almost like having an entire crew working for you, and you really don't have to pay them. So it's cheap and it's super effective.
You know what, and I know I'm a company guy and I'm supposed to say this, but I totally agree with you 100%. The people like yourself, like I was just talking to someone before you, James Namchek from Nevada, and, you guys use it really well. So when you use it really well, it works really well. And, today's business is about developing, maintaining, being consistent with your own group of people. You can call it a network, or you can call it a CRM, you can call it your sphere. I would call it a sphere and then some, because the network could include, your sphere of influence. It could include your farm. It could include everybody you're connected with on social media. You're developing and staying consistent with all these people. And then, hey, even your network has a turnover rate, right? It's going to have a certain amount, right? So tell me a little bit about that, how you develop and maintain yours, because I know that you stop by open houses, for sale by owners, and you do all kinds of active things.
So maybe not FISBOs, just because they really don't do open houses, and I just have a hard time connecting with them, just because I think they are trying to save a buck, and they don't realize that when they try to do our job, they're going to make so many mistakes. So they're going to sell it for lower price. And also it will take them longer just because they don't have all the marketing tools like we have. So I just don't even connect with those people just because I just don't want to waste my time. But I love, even when I'm like driving home or if I'm in a neighborhood, or also sometimes when I'm on a tour with clients, if I see open houses, I love to pop in because it's very important to understand what's on the market. So in a sense, we are selling a product, but the product is always changing. So it's very important to stay up to date on what's happening on the market. Like last week, I was getting some emails and text messages from clients who are not in town yet. They are getting ready to be back in a few weeks, and they see things on the market, and they just randomly shoot out an email like, "Oh, have you been inside of this house?" And it's so cool when somebody says, "Oh, have you seen this?" And you report back and say, "Yeah, it's really hodgepodge. I've been in there. It smells bad. Great views, but also at the same time in the backyard, you don't have privacy." So it just basically sends a message to your clients that, hey, this person lives and loves what they are doing because they know what's going on in the market. So I do love the open houses, not only when I'm doing them, but also walking in, and also sometimes you meet some of the fellow agents that you might be doing business with down the road, and it's always good to kind of form those relationships where you suddenly see an offer coming in, or you are sending an offer to somebody, and you're like, "Oh yeah, I know that person." So it's just a great way to network and form new relationships.
Right. It is. It's such a great way. Absolutely. Okay. Well, give them before we finish here, give them your top 3 things to be successful in this business. Like, what would you consider if I'm somebody trying to get into the next level or get the gear started, or, because a lot of people, like you said earlier, some people are having a little trouble with this market, and other people like yourself that are working it. So give me your top 3 things. What do you think would be good for them to hear?
Well, so let me just also like give a little recognition to some of the people, because I wouldn't be here talking to you if I didn't really get the help. So from the get-go, obviously you were there for me. Mary Sand was there. Also, when I had questions, like Charlie is just such an amazing person. Like, when things are getting kind of rough, it's always nice to reach out to him for like some guiding light. And then also we have Jamie Belliati, who's also fantastic. Sometimes I get emails from her. I call it the hate mail, but it's just good. It just keeps you in line and helps you get better. And also we have our wonderful Wanda, who is so awesome to work with, and just a delight to share an office with. And then also our new broker, Veronica. Oh my God, she is just fantastic. Like, whenever I have questions, she's available and keeps me out of trouble. So step 1 is really, we have a fantastic organization, and we can kind of complain about the market and this and that, but at the same time, you just have to realize that we have a good support system. So if you have questions, if you have concerns, if you want to stay out of trouble, we've got some extremely knowledgeable people to turn to who will take the time and not brush you off and say, "Oh, okay, go away," I'll eventually send you an email. No, it's like instantaneously you get the help. And then what else can I tell you? So, okay, some of my advice would be really, wait. And also like some of the camaraderie at the office. Like, I am so thankful to Linda Salco and also Sandra Allen from the beginning, because, I've been in the business for 4.5 years, but I got so many questions, and I would pick up the phone, and those two would be like answering questions left and right. So I just think, being part of the team that wants to help you succeed is probably, the fundamental reason why I'm successful. And then, when I think about like, okay, what would be some of my advice, I think people need to know their market. So it's very, very important that you know what you are selling, because when somebody talks to you, it basically, makes you more confident, and also it will be attractive to the buyers, because sometimes they ask me about, restaurants, or, hey, how long does it take from here to get to the airport, or where are the shopping areas, or where would you go hiking? So, it's very important to know your market. And then also, I've been building a brand, so obviously I have a funky name, and it's really difficult for people to pronounce. So that's how the whole AJ thing was born, because when I got into real estate, like for decades, I've been in the States since '87, and I was always Attila, and, people eventually learn how to pronounce it, but I kind of had to brand myself just so I'm more commercially appealing. So I kind of eliminated the struggle of like, oh, how do you pronounce it? So that's how AJ was born. And then I just started building the brand. So you will see that even my car is like fully branded. And, I used to work for some big brands like Puma or the Dial Corporation. So it's like all about the brand. So you start building it, but you also stay true to your brand and make sure that that brand doesn't get tarnished. And the last thing is that you have to have fun. This is a fun business. We are helping people, and that's my slogan. My slogan is, let me help your real estate dreams become a reality. And, you are playing, not playing, I don't play with it, but you are basically helping people make some very important decisions that will affect their lives for multiple years. So I just always feel like, okay, we have to make it a fun experience, and also just make sure that you are entering into decisions that are not motivated by, making money, but it's more like, hey, I want to make sure that these guys will be happy, because, then they will come back. And, I know that we are kind of promoting the forever agent, but I have a lot of clients who kind of move out of state. So I'd like to stay the forever agent, but if they move out of state, like, we'll stay connected. But, our real estate transactions are limited once they are not in my market. But I just always want to have fun and make sure that I stay true to myself and create business deals that are a win-win situation for everyone.
I love it. And perfect timing too. So AJ, that's all great stuff. And I think I'm going to put that out as an email like I do on Saturday mornings with your top 3 tips there. And all great. I love it. I really appreciate you taking your time out today. You're an awesome dude to have in the office too. I know you mentioned some really good people in the SoCal, and all in your manager, Veronica. They're all very helpful. It's a unique organization when not only do we want to, we want to help you be successful, as a company, as a brand, but you also have agents in your office like yourself now, because I know that you've helped some people as well. So I really appreciate you. Thanks for taking your time out this morning. Okay. Awesome. Everybody else, have a great week. You too, my man. Have a great week. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Same here, bud. Go get them. Thanks.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.